You don't feel blessed, but you are. That gap between what you feel and what is true, that's exactly where the enemy lives. He fills it with comparison, with lack, with the illusion that God's favor only looks one way. But Psalm 68:19 declares that the Lord daily loads us with benefits. Daily, not occasionally, not when you've earned it, every single day. And today, God is pulling back the curtain on 5 blessings you've been carrying without realizing it. Simple, quiet, unimpressive to the world, but in the spirit, they are proof that heaven has not forgotten you. Like and subscribe to guard your perspective. Here are the 5 signs. 1. You have a peace money cannot buy. Stop. Before you scroll to the next thing, before you dismiss this as something you don't have, ask yourself one question. In the middle of your worst season, was there ever a moment where something inside you went quiet? Not numb, not distracted, quiet. That wasn't coincidence. That was God. The world has sold you a counterfeit version of peace. It tells you peace looks like a paid-off mortgage, a full bank account, a life with no problems. But that is not peace. That is comfort. And comfort evaporates the moment circumstances shift. Real peace, the kind Philippians 4:7 describes, as something that transcends all understanding, doesn't wait for your situation to improve. It shows up in the middle of the storm and refuses to leave. Here is what most people never stop to examine. The wealthiest people on earth are often the most anxious. Executives who built empires lie awake at 3 a.m., replaying decisions. Celebrities with millions of followers sit in silence and feel completely alone. Because money can buy distraction. It cannot buy stillness. Stillness is a gift. And if you have ever experienced even a fragment of it, a moment where you exhaled, and something in you said, God has this, you have touched something. Most people spend their entire lives chasing and never find. Isaiah 26:3 does not say God will give peace to the successful. It says, you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you. Fixed, not occasionally glancing at, not remembering when things get hard. Fixed. That kind of anchored trust produces a peace the world cannot manufacture and the enemy cannot steal. If that peace has visited you, even once, you are not struggling, you are blessed. 2. You had a meal today. This one will feel too simple. That is exactly the point. Right now, as you watch this, approximately 733 million people on this earth will go to bed tonight without enough food. Not without their favorite meal. Without enough food. Children, elderly, people within driving distance of where you sit right now. And yet, you have something on your table. Maybe it is simple. Maybe it is leftovers. Maybe it is less than you want, but it is there. The enemy has trained you to look at your plate and see lack. God is asking you to look at your plate and see provision, because there is a war happening between those two perspectives. And whichever one wins shapes your entire relationship with gratitude. Proverbs 38 contains one of the most quietly powerful prayers in all of Scripture. Agur asked God for one thing above wealth or poverty. Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. Daily bread, not a feast, not abundance. Enough for today. And here is what that prayer reveals. The man who wrote it understood that daily provision is not a small thing. It is a daily miracle. It is God saying, I see you. I have not forgotten you. Here is proof. Do not scroll past your next meal without pausing. That food is not just calories. It is a message from heaven that your provider has not stopped providing. You are not behind. You are fed. and in a world where millions are not. That is not ordinary. That is sacred. 3. You woke up this morning. You did not earn this morning. You did not deserve it. More than the person who did not wake up yesterday. You received it. And that distinction changes everything. Every morning your eyes open is a declaration from God that your story is not finished, that there is still something in you He intends to complete. Lamentations 3:22-23 does not say God's mercies are available to those who qualify. It says they are new every morning, every single morning, not as a reward, as a gift, freely given, freshly poured, before you have done anything to earn it. Think about what it means to receive a new morning. It means God looked at your yesterday, all of it, the failures, the words you regret, the prayers you forgot to pray, and decided your tomorrow was still worth creating. He did not close the chapter on you. He turned the page and handed you a blank one. This is why David wrote in Psalm 118:24, "This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." Not, "This is the day I performed well." Not, "This is the day I feel ready." This day, the one you are in, the one that began the moment your lungs drew their first breath this morning. A breath you did not generate, a heartbeat you did not manufacture. You woke up. That is not biology. That is mercy. And mercy is the language God speaks when He is not finished with someone yet. You are not finished. You are still here. And that alone, before anything else happens today, is a blessing most people are too busy to notice. 4. You have someone who picks up the phone. Think of one person, just one, someone whose name you could dial right now. At midnight, at 1 a.m., in the middle of your worst moment, and they would pick up, not because they had to, because they chose to. If that name came to mind, stop minimizing what you have. The world measures wealth in followers, in likes, in the size of a social circle. But the Spirit measures it differently. One person who truly knows you, your failures, your fears, the version of you that exists before the performance begins, and still chooses to stay. That is not a small thing. That is a divine placement. God did not accidentally put that person in your life. He stationed them there. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 speaks with quiet authority on this. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Notice what Scripture does not say. It does not say 2 is better when both are thriving. It says 2 is better specifically because one can fall, because life includes falling, and God, in His mercy, anticipated your falling before you did, and positioned someone to catch you. We live in the loneliest generation in recorded history. Studies confirm it. People with thousands of online connections reporting they have no one to call in a crisis. Entire lives performed for an audience. That disappears the moment the camera stops. And in the middle of that epidemic, you have a name, one real name, one person who would answer. Do not take that for granted. That relationship did not happen by accident. It was assembled by a God who saw your future seasons of need and said, "They will not face this alone. You are not alone. You are covered." And that coverage is worth more than any number in any bank account on earth. 5. You still believe. This is the one that holds all the others together. Peace in your mind means nothing without a God to anchor it to. Food on your table is just sustenance without a provider to thank. A new morning is just biology without a creator who authored it. Someone in your corner is just relationship without the understanding that God placed them there. Faith is the lens through which every other blessing becomes visible. Remove it, and you have a life full of good things you cannot explain. Keep it, and suddenly everything becomes evidence. Here is what the enemy has been trying to do. He has not been trying to take your house or your job or your health first. He has been targeting your faith, because he knows that a person without faith can have everything and feel nothing, and a person with faith can have almost nothing and still stand firm. Hebrews 11:1 defines it precisely. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Substance, evidence, these are not passive words. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is the spiritual architecture. That makes an invisible God feel more real than every visible problem pressing against you. Think about Job. He lost everything the world calls a blessing. Wealth, children, health, reputation. Everything external was stripped. But Job 1:22 records something staggering. In all this, Job did not sin. By charging God with wrongdoing, his circumstances collapsed. His faith did not. And it was that faith, not his restored fortune, that became the foundation of his testimony. You still believe. After everything. After the prayers that felt unanswered. After the seasons that made no sense. After the nights you begged God for a sign and heard silence. You are still here, still watching, still seeking. That is not weakness. That is one of the rarest forms of strength that exists on this earth. Do not call your faith small just because it has been tested. Tested faith is the only kind worth having. It means it survived something. It means the enemy came for it, and it is still standing. You still have faith. And as long as you do, you have the one thing that turns every ordinary moment into an encounter with the divine. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are blessed. Here is what God is asking you to do right now. Stop waiting for the blessing to arrive in a form the world would recognize. It is already here. In your breath this morning, in the meal on your table, in the one person who would answer your call, in the peace that visited you even in your hardest season, in the faith that survived everything the enemy threw at it. You did not stumble onto this video. You were led here because God wanted you to hear this before you spent another day feeling overlooked. Type "blessed" in the comments as a declaration. A moment where you look at your life, all of it, the mess and the mercy, and say, I see it now. Like and subscribe to stay anchored to truth in every season ahead, because the next message might be the one that shifts everything.